Alright, the purpose of this video is to show you how to input a message or a sermon into ProPresenter, or at least how we do it here at Grace Point Church in Coppell. Now I've got my sermon notes right here. This is for last Sunday. I went ahead and just deleted it from ProPresenter so I could show you how to do it. This is a message that John Mindrip preached on James 5:7-12. Now, he just sent me his sermon notes a little bit differently. He just sent me all the slides, the references, in order that he wants them on the screen, which is really easy. So, different speakers do it differently, but this one's pretty easy to work with. So, I'm just going to kind of keep this in the corner. Normally, I like to print this out and have it in front of me physically while I do this, but because you can't see my hands, I went ahead and put it on the computer itself. So, we're going to go to our library of messages right here. We don't store a whole bunch of these. There's really no reason to. We just store a few weeks. We're going to go ahead and go to 528 here. This is our James series, so we're going to just duplicate this and then rename it. You can click it a couple times to rename it, or I think you can right-click as well to rename it. So you right-click. Yep. So now it's named by the date it was preached, or it will be preached. I'll talk back in time here. I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these slides that are from the previous week. We're going to right-click this name title because it's not Rocky preaching. It is John Mindrip preaching. There we go. So yeah, there we go. We have a few things going on here already. First, if you notice, this slide has all these little icons in the top right corner. This little mustache guy is the look. This is it triggers a countdown that's on the projector behind us that the preacher can see. It's kind of a sermon countdown so they can see how much time they have left. So that starts it. Macro is sending a lighting cue, a MIDI signal to our lighting software that will change the lights to the message look. And then this is just a 1 second timer. So when you click this, it'll just automatically go to the next slide. So the idea is you don't want to click this again. It even says click once right here. So how you label that, by the way, if you right click label, you can label it any of these, or you can edit it yourself. And there's some options, type it something, you can make it change colors. That's how you do what I did there. So yeah, this also, you can see, has a 12-second timer on it. It'll go to the next slide. It's always good to know if you have a timer on a slide, you want to know that the next slide it's going to is safe. Yeah, you can see the name just kind of pops up there in the corner. On the live stream is popping up. Yeah, and that's what that little mustache guy is. It's a look, so it's sending something different to each of those outputs. All right, let's go ahead and put in the message. So first, we are hitting James 5:7-8. We're going to open up our Bible app, and we'll type in James 5:7-8. There we go. So it's that easy. Now, there's a few things you want to set up beforehand to make it that easy. If you click Options, you shouldn't really have to do this if it's already set, but you have all these options. We can show verse numbers. If you take that off, the verse numbers disappear from the passage. We can break it on a new verse, so every single verse will have its own slide. We can display the translation if we want to do that. We can preserve the font color. That doesn't really affect it in this case, but you have that. You can have the passage on each slide or the passage on the last slide. So say I break on the new verse and I want to do passage on the last slide only. See, it disappeared from that one and it's only on that one. Or you can just do no reference. You have a few options. Or you can do verse references, so it'll just show the verse that is being displayed. So the settings we like right now for the sermon are just like that. And then you have your option for a theme. We've created some message themes. It's on this Scripture iPad one. There's a few different clicks in ProPresenter. This is really good to know, and it's really good in this process to get to know your your keyboard shortcuts that's going to help you. You can click and see it has an orange banner around it. That means it's actually displaying on the screen. You can command click and it's got a blue border around it. That means you've selected the slide, but you're not showing it on the screen. So if I get rid of that and I go command click, it's not showing up on the screen. If I just click it, it is showing up on the screen. So we'll go command click, and then I'm going to copy it by hitting command C, or you can do it this way, but I would really encourage you, like I said, to get to know your keyboard shortcuts. It's going to make this a whole lot easier for you. I'm going to command click here to put that blue banner, and then command V to paste it. You could paste it by right clicking and hitting paste, but again, command click, command V, it's going to make your life a lot easier. There you go. Now you notice it doesn't have a background on it. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. And now I'm just going to go to the next passage. Judges 6:19. Bible. Judges 6:19. There we go. Command click, command copy, command click, command paste. See how that works? Command V. So you could do this super fast if you 2 Samuel 18:24, if you get the hang of those keyboard shortcuts. Command click, command C. There we go. It's a lot harder to do and say at the same time. James 5:7. We already have James 5:7 covered here, but he wants it on its own. James 5:10 through 11. James 5:10 through 11. It's also good to just double check your passages. As an example of suffering and patience, brothers. As an example, make sure the text is exactly the same. Make sure it ends the same. Sometimes the preacher, the pastor may have gotten one number wrong on here, or maybe they said 2 Samuel when they meant 1 Samuel. Those kind of things happen, and so double check, triple check all that text just to make sure that you're putting in the right passage. So in this sermon, he doesn't have a sermon point, but adding a sermon point is also pretty easy. Now, the way that I like to do it is go back in time and find a sermon point. Look, there's some sermon points. We're just going to grab this and command click to make it blue, command C to copy it, and then command click, command V to paste it. There we go. Now I can quick edit and just name this whatever I want. Sermon point. And there's our sermon point. Yep, click on it and it displays. So let's say we're done with the sermon. I'm not going to put all these in for you. That'll take me a while. But say we're done. We want to put backgrounds on all of these. We're going to click Media Bin. I use the Media Bin a lot for all of our backgrounds. We have all these smart folders. I love smart folders. Smart folders are basically just reading a folder that's on the computer. So there's a folder on the computer named James. I think it's in the desktop. Let's see here, James, right there. And there's all our James series graphics. So we could just click on that, and it shows us everything. If you want to add a smart folder, plus, they actually call them smart playlists now. They used to call them smart folders. But new smart playlist, you just select the folder, navigate to it, and it will show up here. So James, here's our background. We're just going to grab that and drag it on. Now, this is something that is a frustration for me with ProPresenter. You only have to drag it onto one slide because it's going to stay there for all of the consecutive slides. See that? But what happens if, the pastor talks here and then you want to go back to this? But now he wants to jump to here. Look, now it picked up that James graphic. So I always, it's just more foolproof, makes things a lot easier. Just drag it to every single slide. I wish there was a way to just assign it to like all selected slides kind of a thing. You could select multiple slides by command shift clicking, because you have to command click to select. So you do command click, command shift, see how it selects. Or you could just hold down command and select individual ones. That's how to select multiple. That's pretty much it. There's your sermon. Now what you're going to want to do is go into your message right here, and we're going to drag it in to this spot. Just navigate to the one we just created, click it, hold on, and then boom, there it is. So that's ready to go. That's how to put in a sermon.